What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be taking a quick look at the latest trailer for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. That's quite a mouthful to say, and we're going to be breaking it down and just taking a quick look at some of the things that we learned throughout this trailer. Now, I am fairly late to this. This actually came out about 5 or 6 days ago when you're watching this, but I was pretty busy over the weekend, so rather than trying to rush it out just before the weekend, I thought I would wait until after the weekend and take a proper look at the actual trailer. So without wasting any more time, we are going to jump into it and start breaking it down. So the trailer starts off here on Tatooine with Luke looking off into the twin suns, and then in this very next scene there is actually the scene where Luke is training on Dagobah with Yoda, and there's actually 2 images in this screen which do have some Aurebesh writing. Now, shout out to Bombastic, I actually saw this on his Twitter. The one on the right says visit Cloud City, and then upon actually breaking this one down, I actually realized there was a picture on the left as well, and that one says family, and it has a picture of Luke, Han and Leia all together. So nothing really important there, but there is obviously some very early Easter eggs in the trailer. Now, in the next scene here, we just see a pretty simple shot of Luke and Vader here on Bespin, but one thing that I noticed was actually the lighting on Vader as he lights up his saber. It might look pretty simple, but that is actually some pretty solid lighting there. You can see the sort of reflection from his saber as he lights it up, so very small detail there, but that is a very good sign for LEGO Star Wars moving forward. It does seem like the graphics are going to be pretty solid for this game, and that does actually hint that there may be ray tracing on PC. They did actually add ray tracing to Minecraft recently, and obviously Minecraft graphics aren't all that great, so if they can do it for Minecraft, there's no reason they can't do it for LEGO Star Wars as well. Now, in the next scene here, we see Anakin doing a little bit of pod racing here on Tatooine, and this has me thinking, I wonder if there's actually a genuine pod racing mode where you can sort of return to Tatooine whenever you want and just do these races to earn a bit of money or whatever. I'm not too sure if that is going to be the case, but I would love to see that added to the game. Now, moving on, we get confirmation that both Naboo and Geonosis are going to be playable planets in this game, and we do also get some Mustafar footage here as well. So those are 3 pretty big planets that they've named, and obviously that's no surprise, they're all pretty big planets, and I think we all expected them, but it is definitely good to see that they are confirmed for the game. Now, in the next scene here, I'm actually a little bit skeptical about this. That, to me, right there looks like a scene from Rogue One, obviously the famous scene where he's chopping down the rebels in the hallway, or it's meant to be the scene where he sort of, Leia gets away and he's looking out the edge of the ship. Now, maybe I'm looking into it too much, I don't really know, but that to me looks like it's meant to be from Rogue One, which has me a little bit skeptical because this is meant to be only the Skywalker Saga, and obviously that is a spin-off movie. So does this hint that maybe we're going to get some Rogue One content? Is it going to be in the base game? Is it going to be DLC? I'm not really too sure. Maybe I am just looking into it too much. So let me know what you guys think of that down below. To me, that definitely looks like it's meant to be sort of a hint at the Rogue One scene, but I don't know if that means that it's meant to be a hint at actually Rogue One content, or if it's just they're trying to get a cool shot of Vader. I'm not really too sure. Now, moving on from this scene, we get into a bit more of the OT era stuff, and you can see here that the sort of over-the-shoulder third-person type of shooting mechanic is actually making a comeback. This was in LEGO The Force Awakens, so I'm glad to see this is coming back. Hopefully they make it a little bit less clunky. It was just slightly clunky and it sort of felt a bit slow in The Force Awakens, but hopefully they have sort of fixed that up because the actual mechanic itself is really good, and it takes it from that sort of arcadey feeling to more of an actual sort of third-person game. So I'm glad to see that is making a comeback, but hopefully they can tune it up just a little bit. Now, we see a little bit of vehicle gameplay here, and I will touch on that a little bit more later on, but I am very excited to see where they go with the vehicle gameplay, and there's just a few little jokes here with 3PO painting his arm and stuff like that. But there is something important that I noticed here in this Rey and Luke scene. I'm going to play this a little bit louder so that you can just hear exactly what I'm talking about. So as you could hear there, Luke was only grunting, he didn't actually say anything in that scene, and obviously the rest of the trailer is pretty much all voice acted. There's all, regular dialogue between the characters. However, in the old LEGO Star Wars games, and just any LEGO game for that matter, there was actually no dialogue from the characters. It was all grunting and just, weird little noises that they would make. So I don't know if that scene was just, that just is part of the scene, or if that scene is actually hinting that that is going to be coming to the game. They did mention when the first ever trailer came out late last year that they would actually be adding in those grunts because a lot of people sort of complained about it. So hopefully they do have both. I hope they have the whole thing voice acted and then the ability to just have grunts as well. It might seem pretty comical to some of you newer guys, but a lot of the older guys who have played, the old LEGO games, I think a lot of us actually want those grunt options. So thought I'd just point that out. I'm not really too sure if it is confirmed or not, but I know that they definitely did mention that they would be looking into it. Now, coming up here in a second, we actually see a bit of a saber battle between Rey and Kylo on the Death Star ruins, and this little bit here, there's kind of like a lock-on with the sabers there, and I don't know if that's a cinematic or if it's actually part of the gameplay. We see Rey sort of running up to Kylo, and that looks like gameplay, and then it sort of transitions into that cinematic sort of look. So I'm not sure if that's sort of a built-in mechanic, sort of, you know, the same as Battlefront 2015 actually, where there was that sort of saber lock animation, or whether it was just straight up a cinematic. I'm not too sure, but it does look like that could actually be a mechanic, because we do see one earlier on as well where Anakin and Obi-Wan are sort of in that same animation. Now, it just goes through a couple of random little scenes here, nothing too special to point out. One thing I did notice here, though, is actually Rey with her yellow saber, and obviously that's pretty much the very last thing that happens in the whole saga. So what I'm wondering is maybe that's sort of like the reward for finishing the game in a way. You unlock like the final skin, which is Rey sort of with that yellow saber, and you get to play the rest of your little side missions or whatever with that skin. So I'm assuming that's how that's going to work. Obviously, it'd be weird to have Rey with the yellow saber earlier on, so that might actually be the very last sort of skin, or I guess technically character in this game that you do unlock. Now again, we see a few little random scenes here. There is confirmation here that we get to play on Hoth here, and there is also Utapau with the Grievous battle, as well as the Rancor pit, which is exciting. But that bit right there is probably the bit that got me the most hype in the whole trailer, and that is the fact that there is actually Coruscant as a playable planet. Now, that's not the biggest surprise. Obviously, it's probably, you know, arguably the biggest planet in the prequels anyway, and it's not a surprise that it is in the game, but for anyone who's been in the Battlefront community, we all know that we were pretty much deprived of Coruscant throughout the whole lifespan of the game, so it does feel really nice to be able to get Coruscant there confirmed, and I really do hope that this is sort of a very, you know, a big open world section of the game, where you can kind of go around the planet and, you know, do your little side missions and go into heaps and heaps of different areas. So in the whole trailer, that was probably one of the main parts that got me the most hype for this game overall. Now, moving on, we actually get a little bit more of that vehicle gameplay that I talked about earlier. We get Poe Dameron on the Starkiller base, and then we also get a bit of the Falcon flying towards some Star Destroyers. Now, this does look like it's a little bit more open rather than just sort of being, you know, linear gameplay. It does look like you have a bit more control with where the Starfighters are going, and so I hope that is the case. I hope it's a bit more, you know, like a regular game rather than just on tracks like most of the other vehicle gameplay is in the LEGO games. Now, that is pretty much it for the rest of the trailer. There is a few little extra scenes here, but none of it is, you know, anything special. It's mostly just showing off a few extra scenes. We see Crate and Kashyyyk and a bit more Bespin and stuff like that. So there's nothing really new that we see here, but there are a few little confirmations and stuff like that. Overall, that is pretty much all that I could find in the trailer. I am not the best at breaking down trailers, so I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff. And if I did, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know. But I feel like I covered most of what was in the trailer, and I'm definitely very, very keen for the full game to come out. We can see the end screen here that it is on Nintendo Switch as well as PS4, PS5, Xbox One and Xbox Series X, and it is going to be dropping in spring 2021, which pretty much means it'll be March, April or May of next year. So pretty unfortunate that it did get pushed back. I was very, very keen for this to come out in, it was rumored to be October, so pretty much, you know, a month or two from now. But I would rather than push it back and make it a solid game rather than sort of rushing it out just for the sake of it. So as unfortunate as it is, I'm okay with their decision. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like down below. And if you are new, consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.